Hey guys, we're going to go and get started as people start or continue to trickle in this evening. I know it's a little different day, so we're going to see some guys probably join throughout the entire presentation tonight. Welcome to the fifth and final night of the 2024 Flexin Texan Triple Option Clinic. Thank you all for all of those that have been here for every clinic, for those that have been able to pop in and out, and those that have checked us out on YouTube these past couple of weeks. My name is James Piker. I'm the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at Alvin High School in Alvin, Texas. And Coach Gage, were you able to join us?
Hey, yeah, I just popped in. So literally just put the 2-year-old down, and I got to get down for dinner. My wife made dinner. We had a track meet tonight, junior high track meet. And, we started the track meet at 5 o'clock, and we finished the 4x4 at 7:07. So I think we set some records tonight as far as how fast we ran the track meet. But I walked in the door, and my wife had 2 kids hanging on to her, so I had to help get them to sleep. And about to go downstairs and eat some dinner and listen to some good option football tonight, and get to listen to Coach Billings this week talk about how to defend it. So just wanted to say thank you guys for chiming in the last 4 weeks, and appreciate everybody that's been a speaker this year. Man, what tremendous coaches you guys are. And this has been something that Coach Piker and we didn't really know how it was going to go when we started talking about it. When Coach Hartsfield, my buddy, hit me up on the idea, I thought, what a great idea, but I don't know how it'll go. And I think it's been great. And I definitely think it's something that we'll continue to do in the future because it's not just Texas guys, like Coach Piker's mentioned over and over again. We got guys from all over the place that are chiming in and listening. And that's what this fraternity is all about. That's what coaching's all about, is helping each other out. And I've definitely learned a lot these last 4 weeks, and looking forward to another great night. And again, from Alvin High School and my perspective, if there's anything we can do to help you guys out ever, don't hesitate to ask. I know we've visited with 4 or 5 guys on this thing so far, from Indiana to West Texas to Arkansas. We've had an opportunity to talk football with a bunch of guys on here so far, and look forward to continuing to do that. And as we get rolling into spring and into summer and even into next fall, if there's anything we can do to help you out, don't hesitate to ask. I know we hit Coach Starin up, we hit Coach Chisholm up, and we hit everybody up. Coach Harrison up at Friends. We start showing them, hey, what are some things you would do to this? What are some change ups you would do to this? And the best part is they're like open books, man. They give us everything we want and everything we need. So same for us at Alvin High School. If there's any questions or anything we can ever do to help you guys out, please. You may not like it and don't take it, which is fine, but at least, consider us. And we like to think that we could help you out some way. And we're definitely going to be reaching out to you guys too. So with that being said, I'm going to turn my video off and go eat some dinner.
Thank you, Coach Gage. Appreciate it. So tonight, I want to remind everybody again, hope everybody sticks around for the entirety of the clinic. I know Coach Kubiak's a great resource for mid-triple and all things triple option. But, there's something special about being in on the presentation and being around to ask questions and things like that. If you're able to stay, please do. If you have to pop in or you have to leave early, I know it's springtime. I know we're all busy doing this and that. When I first started teaching and coaching, somebody had told me that spring is much more busy than fall ever could be. And as a young coach, I didn't think that was even possible. And as I've gotten longer in the tooth, I've found that the spring is definitely busier than the fall. So I understand everybody's got obligations. If you got to pop out or you can't make the entirety of the clinic tonight, please make sure to go check out our YouTube page, our YouTube channel. And all you need to do is search Flexin Texan on YouTube, and it should be one of the first 1 or 2 results. Click on that. Please follow. Or subscribe. I'm not sure what that means, but that's what all the kids are saying these days. So please subscribe. It looks cool, I guess. But all of the videos will be on there in their entirety, uncut. So by all means, please go check those out. I think they're going to be a great resource. And everything we're offering is free this year. In addition, next week, we'll have tonight's talk with Coach Kubiak and Coach Billings up hopefully by the end of the night tonight, but definitely by lunchtime tomorrow morning, if not. And then next week, we'll be adding and uploading our clinic videos from last year's clinic that we hosted in person at our facilities here in Alvin. Coach Kubiak's one of those talks. Me and Coach Gage are one of those talks. Again, some great resources for triple option. Coach Paul Lanier is on there on the whiteboard, punching that marker on the whiteboard. Another great resource for the old school option. So please check that out when you get a chance. Tonight's guest again, Coach Kubiak. I want to thank him for being a return speaker in our clinic. He was kind enough to come down last year and be one of the very first presenters at our clinic. Really helped us get this thing off the ground and make it what it is today. And so I want to thank him for coming back and talking what else but mid triple. And having spoken to him earlier today, really excited about what he's going to present, the things he's going to talk about. And I know there's going to be plenty of that we definitely steal from him that hopefully y'all can too. And then Coach Billings, the long anticipated and waited for presentation on how he's worked to stop the triple option against us every day in practice for the last 3 years. Coach Billings has been our defense coordinator at Alvin, and there are very few people that I know defends the option as well as he does. He's seen it every day. And we've sat 4 hours a day in PE together for the last 3 years, and he's very sneakily stolen all of my secrets and picked my brain for 3 years. So very few people that know how to stop the option like he does. So appreciate both of y'all being here tonight. Once again, please stick around. One of the things that makes all clinics, but Zoom especially fantastic is the ability to pop in, ask questions on the spot. We don't have time limits as y'all can see from last week. So feel free to pop in with questions. If you would though, please keep your mics on mute unless you're going to pop in and ask a question. And then if you do have a question and it can wait, please feel free to use the chat box. Coach Kubiak, Coach Billings, I'll pop in and read any questions that may come up in the chat window that you may not see, sort of as your quote unquote moderator. So without further ado, I'm done. One last time, we'll make our shameless plug. We have 2 or 3 spots open on the offensive side of the football. We've reached out to some people, we've talked to some people, but we're keeping the pool open. If you're interested, or anybody that's interested in coming down to Texas, coaching at the highest level of high school football in the state of Texas and running a little triple option, please feel free to reach out, give us a text, a call, an email. And we'd love to talk to you about the possibility of coming to Alvin and helping us do something really special. But otherwise, me and Coach Jacob Hall, our assistant offensive line coach, we are leaving tomorrow morning, taking the 8-hour suburban road trip to Searcy, Arkansas, to check out the Harding Clinic. So hopefully we'll see a bunch of y'all there. Please come reach out. I know we're all familiar with each other, but we use teeny little screens at the top of our computer screen or on Twitter and things like that. But please feel free to come reach out, meet in person, shake hands, and let's all put a name to a face these next couple of days in Arkansas. So looking forward to that. But without further ado, I'm going to shut the hell up and pass it over to Coach Kubiak. Coach Kubiak, the floor is yours. And thank you again for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Appreciate all y'all thinking you need to listen to me if you're going to Harding. If you are going to the Harding Clinic, appreciate you coming in here and stopping by and still listening to me. Thinking I'm going to teach you something that the Harding guys don't know, but I learned it from them. And so you're getting a little watered down version from me, I guess. And they can tell you all the things that I get wrong if you go up there. Anyway, appreciate you guys having me on. Appreciate you asking me to speak again. Last year, I think I was on the Saturday. I think I was towards the bottom after you fed everybody barbecue and mashed potatoes, and now you're having me at 8 o'clock on a Monday night after junior high track meets and golf tournaments and all the stuff going on in the spring. So I appreciate you guys staying up and giving me the opportunity to speak. I did all this stuff with Coach Piker this afternoon. So I'm hoping it all works again. And let me see if this. All right, there we go. All right, so my presentation that I came up with is the greatest play in the history of football, and I believe that truly is mid triple. That's our number one play. It's been our number one play for the last probably ever since we've been running the Flexbone. We are going to find ways to run that play. People that play us are going to find ways to stop that play, and so we've always got to be expanding and coming up with ways to do it, and run it against multiple fronts, and run it against different looks, and give you different looks to try to make you work on something in practice if you're playing us the upcoming week. That's me, Jeremy Kubiak. I'm the offense coordinator, coach the quarterbacks and B-backs at Tatum High School. My email's right there if you need to reach out to me through email. That's our school email. And then that's my cell phone number there, 903-926-1886. And then some of y'all have reached out to me on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle down there. Last name first name last. You can find me on there too. Whatever is easiest for you to communicate. A little bit about me. I graduated from Granbury, Texas, Granbury High School in 1999. Then I graduated from college at Tarleton State University. I've been coaching for 20 years now. This is my 20th year. I was 1 year at Acton Middle School, 2 years at Pleasant Grove in Texarkana. I was at Coppers Cove for a couple of years. It's the junior high, 7th grade, 8th grade, did all that stuff. Junior high coach for the first 5 years of my career. And I went to Bloomington High School outside of Victoria, if you guys know where that is. Bloomington's down south. And I was only there for 6 months before my buddy, Coach Keeling, got the AD head football coach job at Wascom. And I went with him. I got to Wascom in January of 2010. Was there for 12 and a half years at Wascom. We had a lot of success there. We were blessed to have a lot of athletic kids that could run, and we got them the ball. And then now the last 2 years, we've moved over to Tatum, and I'm the offensive coordinator at Tatum. In all 20 years of my coaching career, 13 have been in the Flexbone, and all 13 years have been in the play caller, and been coaching the quarterbacks and the B-backs all 13 years in the Flexbone. So like I said, I just kind of threw some I like me stuff on here, just give you guys an idea where we were coming from. From 2011 was the first year we started running the Flexbone at Wascom. We had never ran it. I had never ran it. I'd only seen it on TV, watching Army and Air Force and Navy. When I was in junior high, I was actually a quarterback, and we ran the split back veer, but I didn't really know a whole lot of different stuff in football at the time. I was just like, okay, this is how you play football, I guess. Didn't really realize that I was running the option when I was younger. But anyway, we transferred from a multiple I team at Wascom. That's what I kind of grew up with. My dad was an offense coordinator, and he's a multiple I guy. That's what we ran in high school. That's what most of the places I was at, that's what we ran, multiple I, spread, gun package type stuff. So we ran that at Wascom for 1 year, and we scored some points, but we realized we didn't have the kids that you needed to run the spread, and we were really not very good up front. And so we found ways to not block people up front because we were very good up front, and we came up with the option. Coach Keeling actually went to a Google search and typed in what offense can you run if you have no offensive lineman, and Flexbone popped up. And so we went to Harding, and they taught us all to us. So we came back to Wascom in 2011 and went 5-5, and we scored 31 points a game. We scored a lot of points that season. Not all those points translated to wins. In fact, we lost 64-54 in a district football game where our quarterback rushed for like 300 and something yards, and we still got beat. That was a tough one to swallow. But then we just kept repping it, kept learning it, and kept kind of doing well at Wascom. So the next year we went 7-3. We scored 38 points a game. Then in 13, we went all the way to the semifinals and averaged 50 a game. 2014, we won the state championship, scoring almost 50 a game. We had 4 kids rush for 1,000 yards that season. It was really fun. That was really fun deal to do. We had our B-back and our quarterback and both our slots rush for 1,000. And actually, in 13 was when all 4 of them rushed for 1,000. And then in 14, We almost had 5 rush for 1,000. The backup fullback almost rushed for 1,000 that year. The quarterback did, and he had like 992 or something like that. And then the backup B-back had 950. So we were, 53 yards or 58 yards away from having 5 kids rush for 1,000 yards. And then in 15, we repeated the state championship. 16, we were really young. We kind of fell off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but we still scored points. We scored, 26 points a game isn't near as, good as when you were scoring 50 the last 3 years. But 26, 27 points a game isn't anything to sneeze at. The next year we came back up into close to the 40s, and then we went 40 again. The next year, went to the second round of the playoffs, won the district in 18, won the district in 17. 2019, we weren't very talented. We had a lot of kids that played really hard. We were really good. We had a good, tough quarterback, ran the option really well, and went 5-5. We actually tied for third place in district. We lost on the tiebreaker to the other 2 teams. And then the next 2 years, we went to the semifinals, scoring close to 50 a game again. We were blessed to have a lot of kids that could run. And then the last 2 years at Tatum, they were a spread team for many years and transferred that to the option. And we took off the kids. They played hard, did well, adjusting from the spread to the Flexbone. And then this past year, we won the district at Tatum. Got beat in the second round of the playoffs, but we were still scoring close to 40 a game. We actually had a first in Flexbone, had a quarterback rush for over 1,000 and actually passed for over 1,000 this year, which was a first for us, or for me at least. But anyway, after we learned how to run the mid triple, when we first learned it, we went up to Harding, and after we typed in on the Google search, what can you run with no offensive lineman, we went to Harding and we learned inside veer and mid triple over the course of about 9 hours spread out over 2 days. Coach Wheaton, those were the only 2 plays that he taught us, was inside veer and mid triple. And I had never heard of mid triple. I'd heard of inside veer, I'd heard of mid double, I'd heard of midline, I heard of outside veer. I'd never heard of mid triple. Not one time in my life did I know people could do that. And when we were learning it from Coach Wheaton, and I didn't really know who Coach Wheaton was at the time because I didn't know a whole lot about option football. I was like, I'm writing all this stuff down on my legal pad, and he's talking about this stuff, and that popped into my head. There's no way that can work. There's not a chance that you can't block the 3 technique and the 5 or the 2 and the 4 or whatever the case may be. There's no way that you can't block those guys and not get hit right in the mouth. Like, not a chance. And I was like, why are we even messing with this play? There's no way that will work. And they were showing us film and everything, and quarterback pitching the ball, and I was like, oh, that's fast. It's unbelievable. And I still didn't think it would work. So I put on my deal. I was like, call me Thomas, show me the holes in your hands. I was like, there's no way that can work. I mean, it's not a chance. There's no way a high school kid could do it. Maybe it works at college, but there's no way. And so I started going through my legal pad of notes like this thick and just reading over it, and all the footwork and how fast it hit. And I was just like, can't work. We'll run inside veer, we'll run outside veer, we'll run mid double, but there's no way you can run that play. And so we went back home and started looking at it, and I started reading it, and we actually called Coach Wheaton again. He came to Wascom and put on a clinic for me and Coach Keeling again, and this time our O-line coach, and then some of our kids sat in on it. He just started telling me, he's like, it works. And I started looking at it, and after he really sat down, started talking to us and going through drills with us, I started to come around. We started practicing in the spring, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's looking like it works. But you're running against your freshman in spring without any pads on. I mean, everything looks good. Everybody thinks you're going to be really good the next season. And we started running it in practice. And again, you're running against JV scout team players, and how hard is that guy really going? And if we can't beat the JV, then we're not going to win a game anyway. But every time we looked like we were doing it right, we scored. Our quarterback did a really good job of working hard and reading it out. And in fact, we had a video game system in our locker room, and I made him play with Georgia Tech every single time he played the game. And he actually did say that helps. So maybe with college football coming back, if you guys are installing the Flexbone this spring with EA releasing that game, y'all can get them going on that stuff. But we played it. We played Mod, our very first game being a Flexbone team, and the very first play call was actually inside veer, and we got stuffed. We got stuffed for like a 2-yard gain. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's call this one. This one's supposed to work. And so we ran mid triple left, and it hit for a 40-yard touchdown. I was like, well, all right, I guess that works. And we went on to win the game and played really well. And every time we called it, it worked. It hit big time. And I was like, well, we're going to keep running that. And I came home and told my wife that, I love this play now. In fact, I actually sat down and she was really not interested in it at all, but I taught it to her. And so I told Coach Gillen, I said, I taught Leslie how to run this play, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to teach it to junior high kids and our quarterbacks coming up over the next few years. Why do I believe in this play so much? Why do I think it's a great play? Because you can run it literally in any down and distance. I know it's a run play, and you hand it off to the fullback, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's 3rd and 18, and they're handing it to the fullback." I've called this play on 4th and 20 from our own 17-yard line before, and we handed it to the B-back, and he got a first down. Now, I was in a fortunate situation late in the game. We had to go for it, and we were backed up, and they were playing way off. But nonetheless, we still ran mid-triple right, handed it to the fullback, and hit for a first down. I almost actually went down and scored. We stalled out at the 20 and got beat. But nonetheless, I've called it on 3rd and 18 in a playoff game. And looking at it from the box, and I called it, and Coach Gillen said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "It's there. It'll read full pitch, and it'll hit for a first down." And we got 23 yards and hit for a first down. We went in and scored on the next play. I mean, you can run it in any situation as long as you've coached your kids on what to do, which is with any offense. As long as you're confident and your kids are confident and you're confident in your kids executing the play that you want to run, it can work. But most of the time, people think it's 3rd and long, they got to throw the ball or they got to do this. You can run mid triple. It makes the defense react to you, and they got to react fast, and they got to be coached up really, really well because it hits so fast. You hand it to the B-back, it hits really fast. Even if people are giving you ones and pinching, you can pull, and the 4-eye pinching, boom, you can kick it and get around. You get everybody arced up. You have your tackle arc out. You have your slot arcing out. We had a coach a few years ago that had never coached in the Flexbone before. He said, "That's the most amazing play ever. You flip the ball out to the fastest kid that you have, and everybody on the edge is arcing and setting a wall and getting people sealed up." So that you need to never forget about that play. You can formation the defense into the look that you want. You can try to get a numbers game on them. I talked about that last year at this deal at Alvin about working the count through formations. We're getting a favorable situation by the defense, putting them in a weak side and then running to the weak side because you're not going to block the first 2 guys in the line of scrimmage. You're not going to block the first 2 down linemen, or you're not going to block the 4-eye and the outside linebacker. And you can get your wall set on the edge, and hopefully it reads pull pitch. But even if it doesn't, it can still be a good play. And so Wiseman will go so great to sum it all up because it works. Why do people do stuff? Because it works. That's why it works. And but if it works so well, then why are only Flexbone teams the ones that are running the play? Well, because I was told this by Coach Wheaton a long time ago. If you can't run this play, then you don't need to run the Flexbone. And that's one of the reasons why we sold out to running it. If you can't run mid triple, then you don't need to run the Flexbone. Now, that might not be 100% true. Nothing's 100% true. But for us, he's been pretty true. That's why I feel about it. Like, if you can't run this play, then you're in trouble. And then why do only Flexbone teams run the play? Because people think you need to be in a standard Flexbone formation to run mid triple with your 2 wideouts, 2 slots, your quarterback and your B-back right there in the line. It's not true. You can run it out of a lot of different formations. You can run it out of a tackle over set. You can run it out of a tight end set. You can run it in your standard 2x2 set, You can run it out of a trip set. You can run it out of an overset. You can get really creative with it. We did that a little bit this year, and I'm gonna have some clips of that here when I start getting into the video of it. It's a very tedious play. It's a very time consuming play. You have to really hammer very, very small stuff to your kids. Footwork, positioning, first step, weight distribution, push off, pocket, making a good mesh, riding across from your back foot to your front foot, getting your eyes where they're supposed to go. You know, and kids, a lot of kids nowadays, they don't like to do the little stuff. They just want to see big picture stuff. They want to see results immediately. And this is a result play. It's where you know you're going to hit big, but you have to do the little stuff for the big thing to happen. And a lot of times, you know, when we do like one step drill in practice, and we do it every Monday, and it's like, why we got to? Why do we do that? Well, because one, we're not good enough to not do it. We're not good enough to not skip that. Everybody can be good at your first step. There's no such thing as being too good at coming off the ball. No coach has ever said that before. And so you have to really hammer that stuff home. And sometimes it can tax you as well. You're like, step with your right foot, put your left hand up, get this here. And especially when you're dealing with JV and freshman kids and junior high kids, you know, it's like herding chickens with those junior high kids sometimes, getting them where to go. And then teaching them that stepping with their right foot, putting their left hand up, putting their thumb on their nipple, putting their right hand on their belly button, and running straight at the quarterback is important. And all that little stuff is important. If you don't take care of little stuff, then big bad things will happen. And then the last reason a lot of people don't run the mid triple is because it's a flexbone play, and you know flexbone's not cool. Like Coach Simmons says, you know flexbone's not cool. And if you're on a flexbone team, if you're not a flexbone team, and you try to run mid triple or option stuff, a lot of people will, you know, boo you out of the stadium or throw rocks at you as you're walking in at halftime or something like that. You know, you got to run inside zone, you got to run outside zone, you got to run hit sweep. I'm not hammering spread guys at all, guys. Please don't take it that way at all. It's just trying to make a little joke. But you know, so if you are pitching the ball behind the line of scrimmage, you're like, yeah, that's old. We don't like that. We want new stuff. We want the new plays. So let me get into what everybody wants is videos. Read it out. There's a good chance that he is going to be a dive player. So right there, we got a good mesh. Our quarterback has eyes on the mesh. He knows pre-snap that this guy's taking the dive and he's not doing anything after the snap of the ball to let him think that he's going to try to redirect or give him some type of false key. And so we're in a good position. Quarterback's feet are in good position. His eyes are right on his read. And we're in a good mesh with our B-back right there. Quarterback does a good job pulling the ball and then running at the inside shoulder of the pitch key. A lot of times kids will want to run flat down the line of scrimmage and come and make that, try to get outside of that pitch key. He's sitting there, you got to pitch it. You're not trying to run to the sideline. If that guy's going to try to make you run to the sideline, pitch the ball and let us run and get everything arced up right here. And then once he sees that pitch key gives him an attacking key right there, he gets into attacking position. Quarterback gets his eyes on the pitch man and gets the ball up high and ready to pitch it at head level of the pitch man. That blocking slot right there, that play side slot that twirled out, did a good job of not chasing. I think I put that on the wide right here. He does a good job of trying. He could probably keep his eyes there, but he does a good job of just leading and following and blocking the next guy that shows up and help out right there to get us into the end zone. Here's the wide version of it right here. Yeah, I got some notes right here. All right, this wide out does a really good job of recognizing that it's man coverage. He's looking dead at him. And so now instead of trying to stand there and chicken fight with him and hold him up at the line of scrimmage, he's going to run his man off as far as he will run with him until that guy starts looking in the backfield or wherever the case may be. Left tackle, off the ball, he's not very good. He's kind of stood straight up right there. But he did a good job of staying on his path, working up to the next man. Once the linebacker disappeared and sucked down on the dive, he just kept running up the field and blocking the next guy that showed up, and gets in a really good position with his helmet across his body on his outside shoulder. You know, a lot of times kids will try to just get dead in the middle of the guy and kind of turn him, and then they get beat up over the top, and the guy rallies over and makes the play. So he does a good job of positioning right here. And then our slot does a good job of just running down the field and not running in here and then getting beat over the top, staying on his path and just running and blocking whoever runs into him. But then we probably got away with a hold right there. But our receiver did a good job of running his guy 27 yards down the field before he realized that it was a run play and started to redirect. But yeah, we probably did get away with the hold right there. But I've had a lot of touchdowns called back on holding calls, so this guy's owed us one. That's the way I look at it. And then I think we got an end zone view right here. Yep. Let me slow this down. So even though this defensive tackle is as wide as he is in that 4-eye, he's tilted. He is going to come down the line of scrimmage. And so right there, with his shoulders turned like that, and that's all he can do is take the fullback, take the B back. Quarterback gets upfield, and that defender sinks his hips and gets in that attacking position. He gets his eyes out and gets a good pitch right there. And looking at it from the end zone view, we definitely got away with a hold. All right, so this right here is kind of a exotic formation for us, where we have what we call wing. And so this is wing right. All right. And so we want to get into just a different look, just give the defense something else to work on. You know, a formation, a lot of formations, defensive coordinators hate that. They get in a lot of formations. And then when you throw motion in on it too, that's a big one too that they don't like. At least ours does. I don't know. Maybe the guys y'all work with or the guys y'all play against don't care. But ours, I share an office with our defense coordinator, and he's just, I would hate to play us. So we call this wing right. Both of their slots are stacked on the same side of the formation. So the opposite, of course, would be wing left. How do they know which way to stand? So this guy's in his normal position. That's his normal slot. So wing right, I'm going to stack up behind my slot. If it were flipped and we were in wing left, then this slot would be on the line of scrimmage and this slot would be stacked up behind him. It changes nothing for anybody else. Their job does not change. Their rule does not change. Their blocking scheme does not change. Everything stays completely and totally the same. And so the play side DT is in a 1-tech. All right. So we're going to block this the same way, no matter what. If it's a 3, a 2, a 2-eye, a 4, a 4-eye, the first man play side of the center is going to be our number one read for the give pull read by the quarterback and the B back. I said, no matter if he's a 1-tech, shaded nose, if he is in that gap, if he is play side of the center, he is going to be the number one read. Now, our quarterback knows that if the guy is that far inside, if he is a shaded nose or if he is a 1 technique, then 99 times out of 100, you are going to pull the football. It's kind of a, get it across and get it out right there. Now, sometimes at the snap of the ball, that 1 technique might run to the motion. If you were going motion across, or if you were going this, they're sliding around, or they might, slant to the field or slant to their strength or something like that, because we are giving them the strength. So still read out number 1. Still read it. Get your eyes on number 1 and read it, but expect to pull the football. And then the next man is our pick key, whether he's in a 4-eye, whether he's in a 5, whether he's in a go 6, 9, whatever your terminology is, the next man on the line of scrimmage or the next man out from play side is the pitch key. All right, so the play side tackle, with this guy being in a 4-eye, play side tackle should arc up to the second level. I know I put this note on the next slide. This is this kid's first ever varsity football game coming up from the JV. He did a lot of stuff wrong in this game, but I needed this clip to show y'all, so he's about to screw up right here. So right here with that one technique, our guard is going to do what we call protect the mesh. And so he is still trying to veer underneath the one. He's not going to do it, right? He is still trying, but he is still doing that because he can't arc. He can't arc and get out or go outside release of that guy, because if he doesn't, the one technique is going to hit our fullback right in the mouth. So he is trying to protect the mesh, and our quarterback is going to pull it. And if there is a big pile, then he is going to step backwards. All right, he is going to step backwards and run around and then try to get back to the line of scrimmage. But that is what he's been coached to do. Our pitch man on the wing formation, we really want him to bail 1-2 steps, fire, top his feet, and go. This was the first time we're running this play in the game, I believe, and he kind of bailed on it a little bit too far. As you can see, he gets out of the screen. We want him to go 1-2, and I think he goes like 1-2, 3.5. We really just want him to go 1-2. But number 23 is attacking, or number 2 set right here is, or number 2, our pitch key is attacking the quarterback. Quarterback sets his feet, gets his eyes on his pitch man. Right here, I would like this kid to have just kind of set right here in this kind of block zone area is what we kind of called it. Like somebody's going to show up, and we tell him you are arcing out, so you are blocking for the pitch. You are trying to, just like if we were running rocket toss or running some type of outside run play, we are blocking for the pitch. So get that guy arced and get him outside. If the quarterback keeps the football and that guy falls inside and tackles the quarterback, that's not your fault. We want to kick the ball, and we want you to be set up for the pitch. So right here, see as the slot bailed, he bailed way too far. He catches the ball 6 yards, so he's got to run 7 steps to gain a yard instead of 4, which is where we want him to be. This allows the defense to rally to him. We still have a successful play, but it could have hit a little bit bigger had he been in a better pitch relationship and had our slot and our tackle don't go block the same guy. I really wish our tackle would have just kind of set the wall, because 30 is the guy he should have been blocking that made us run to the sideline a little bit more. Or if he would have said, well, that guy sucked down, I'm going to keep going, then he should have worked up to the backside safety, slide the play side safety. Let's see a little better at the wide view here. So right there, like for this kid to kind of sit right here and just kind of get ready, looking from here to there, right there, and slot picks up this guy, picks up the safety, and our receiver would pick up that corner right there. But instead, you see the tackle gets off his path and kind of chases. We don't want him to chase. We like for him to sit right there, and our slot would have that safety picked up, and then he could have picked up the backside safety. Had this slot caught the ball, closer to the line of scrimmage, he wouldn't have had to run so far. And then even with the play side linebacker, redirecting, getting outside, had he caught the ball in a better relationship, or had our tackle kind of sit and waited a little bit longer, we might have had a better play right there. But instead, he chased and ran to the play side safety. Like I said, this was the first game from this year. He was making his first ever varsity start. So right here, you can see from the end zone view, I don't know if you really can't see, but anyway, that's the defensive tackle right in front of the linebacker. So he's in a 1 right here. We would consider that a 2-eye, and this is a 1 right there. I know some people's terminology is a little bit different. And then we got, looks like double head up 4s right there. The closer we tell the quarterback, the closer that the number 1 key is to you, the more likely you are to keep the football. If the further away he gets from the center, the more likely you are to give the football. So that's what he's taught pre-snap. And then we're going to arc this here, looking up. He's looking for number 30. That's his first look. That stack linebacker. We have our slot for number 3 right here, who's also wearing number 3, but he's number 3, so he should be getting blocked. And if this guy goes sucking down in here, that's not your job. All right, that's not your job. You arc up and look for the next guy. So what he should have done had it been right there. Instead, he redirects and chases. So ideally, we would have wanted him to pick up number 2 when he decided that number 30 had sucked down into the line of scrimmage. So here's the formation. This is wing left right here. All right. Here's our wing left set, and we're actually in an overloaded set. Yep. So we're in an overloaded set here. We have both receivers here and there on the line of scrimmage. So this is over left, wing left. Probably come up with a better term for that. Just one word term like overload or jumbo or something big right there. But that's so we have both our wideouts and both our slots on the same side. So we have them outnumbered. I'll show it to you on the wide set right here. So this is why we're running mid triple left into this set right here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 right there and a half. Pretty sure when we get to the wide, they have another defender out here on the weak side. So slot right there does a little bit better of a job than the previous slot did. I'd like for him to not have bailed so much. But 1, 2, start coming down right there. Set your feet in the ground and start working back towards line of scrimmage. Instead, he goes 3, 4 before he gets that set. He's a little bit deep catching the football. Quarterback does a good job getting a good mesh, getting his eyes on that. 50 works down. Number 12, the defensive end, is our number 2 read right there. He's in an attacking position. It means his shoulders are square, so we kick the ball. Didn't do a great job on the edge right here on this play. Yeah, I got it on the wide. So yeah, right here. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys over here and a half over there. And we have 1, 2, 3. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the safety in the back. And so we have them outnumbered because we have an extra guy over there. We have an extra blocker. So right here, there we go. Right here, the wideout is wrong. All right. He should have worked up to this safety because this is number 3. That is the slots guy. All right. They should have. We come up later on. We came up with a tag. We said, just to make it easier for our kids, we were going to tell that inside guy who to block every single play. So we came up with tags for that for safety, linebacker, defensive end, cornerback. We have different blocking tags for the inside receiver. If we tag that at the end of the play, then you're going to go block that guy, just like everybody else does. And he does a hell of a job blocking this guy. He does a pretty good job right here. He gets him blocked. He gets him squared off, and we tell him he's blocking for the pitch too. So if you're going to block the wrong guy, at least block the wrong guy. Don't realize halfway through, I'm not supposed to block this guy, and let him go. Stay on your guy. Stay on the guy that you're blocking. If you are blocking the wrong guy, block the hell out of him. Right there. So our blocking slot overruns. Even though, like I said, that wasn't his guy. He didn't have his eyes inside. Once he saw that his man was getting blocked, he should have redirected his eyes to where the next thing would have been. He did. It's the same kid. He did it really well in the first one, but he kind of got out of position here. He realizes it too late, and that guy can run underneath him right there, and then he chases him. Our receiver at the top of the screen. There we go. He does a good job of keeping a cushion and then running that guy inside the play, running that cornerback inside of the play. So our slot has an opportunity to get outside and get down the sideline. But he did a really good job of stock blocking that. So like I said, even with everything that we did wrong on that play, we still gained 14, 15, 20 yards, whatever the case was. All right, so here is mid-triple out of a trip set. So it's not an exotic set. It's just a standard trip set. 1, 2, 3, 1 through 1, 2, 3 receivers. It's also a big passing set for us. Is the trip set. So we do pass a lot out of this. So it's not a guaranteed run set at all. Even when we pass the ball, we motion people across the line of scrimmage, we motion them back in the block. We do a lot of stuff. So in this set, we were going to twirl. We're going to still run mid triple. The guy that goes in motion is going to be the pitch man. Why is he the pitch man? Because he would be the pitch man. If we were running mid triple right, then he would be right here and he would be the pitch man. So, but on mid triple, the thing you have to do if you're in the standard set is usually this guy's going to twirl. So they have to talk to each other and realize that their responsibility is switched. In order for him to be the pitch man, he has to come motion back into the backfield to get into pitch relationship. All right. And you're about to see it here. The play side guard does a good job of keeping his eyes up and picking up the blitzing linebacker. When we motion into the pitch man back into the backfield, then he will twirl out and get into a pitch relationship. Like I said on the previous note, or I didn't read it, but hopefully you guys did. You need that. You need players to go against motion. So he's motioning back into the backfield. And so a lot of times with Flexbone, the big key is probably 80%, 75% of the time, wherever the motion guy goes, that's where the ball is going to go. So he's going to shut his feet down and get into pitch relationship. Quarterback does a good job of noticing the blitzing linebacker and realizing that even though that's the blitzing linebacker, he is not the one read. He is not number one. All right. The 5 technique is still number one because he is down on the line of scrimmage. He's the first thing placed out of the center, down in the stance. All right. The blitzing linebacker is going to get picked up by the guard. All right. This is number 2. If he pulls off of him and pitches off of him, we're not blocking this guy. Or at least we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to block that guy. And so now you're going to have a man left unblocked right there. Even though he did run into our tackle. I just noticed that as I was playing the clip right here. All right. But he does a good job of reading all the way through. 5 runs up the field. The 5 technique runs up the field, which is the number 1 read. So 100% give all the way. Our slot does a good job of getting into the backfield here. With this bump that we're getting from this motion, with this guy coming back into the backfield, we would like to get a full pitch, but our quarterback reads it. And does what he's supposed to do. But I'll shut him down. So right there, shut it down. If you are not exactly where you need to be, is what we tell these slots. If you are not exactly where you need to be when we snap the ball, then keep working. Keep working into the backfield. You know, we've ran that. You got to rep this a lot. We do it a lot in option drill. Do a lot in the game. If the quarterback's putting him in motion, with his foot because he's too far out to hear the downward set go cadence. So we're putting him in motion. Quarterback has control over when he can snap the ball. So he's kind of watching him to make sure he's getting back in the backfield. But if something happens, you don't get in pitch relationship. Quarterback snaps the ball too early before you get in the backfield. Keep working. Work yourself into pitch relationship. Don't panic and just stop and be like, oh, well, he snapped the ball. I didn't know what to do. Keep working. All right, so this is a similar defense here. The only real difference is no blitzing linebacker. We're still in the trip set, so all our same rules apply. All right, they've given us different front. Then this was the same game from the play before, or the couple plays before. It's the same game, and they're DC, man. They try to run every defense ever. They gave us a bunch of different looks. Our kids did a really good job of picking it up. We scored 63 points, but unfortunately we gave up 80. We got beat 80-63 in this game. Yeah, I said that. We scored 63 points and we lost. It was a tough one to swallow. All right, the safety didn't come into the box. We would have had him arced up. You'll see it on the wide a lot better. And we pulled it and pitched it. But the 5 technique ran up the field, so it's a give all the way. We didn't do the greatest job of getting the nose blocked with our center. He kind of loses him right there. We liked would have moved, get a little bit more movement of that, but they got just enough of him where he could not get her B-back tackled because he is running hard. If you get tackled with an arm tackle, then you can't play B-back, is what I tell the B-backs. So right here, you see this. So they don't move. I was talking with Coach Piker while we were going over this. A lot of times, surprise, surprise, high school kids don't do what they're coached to do. But that never happens to anybody out there but us. But sometimes it does. And I'm sure they were probably told that guy goes in motion to bump, but they don't. And so he stays out there. So we would have had him marked up even with him being out there because our blocking slot does a good job of arcing, getting outside, and getting up the field. So right there, the play side tackle should let this guy go. All right, he should have let him go because that is the pitch man. He should have let him go and kept working up the field to the next level. All right, but like I said, that's the same kid that screwed up in the first quarter, and now this is later in the game. And if I'm going too fast or anything, guys, let me know. So right there, you can see it. The guy being in trips, quarterback looks out, he moves his foot, puts him in motion, just like any other team would do. And then he looks at him and makes sure he's in where we need him to be before he starts his cadence right there. All right there, foot moves, look at him, look at him, look at him. There we go. Now get ready and get set. You control this. All right. So right here, you can see this guy's a head up nose, so he's not in the count. So number one is right there. All right. And with him being that far out, our quarterback is expecting this to read give. And a lot of people think if you put a zero nose down, that stops mid double and mid triple. No, it doesn't. If you have a really good center, you can block him one on one, then awesome. That's fine. You don't have to do that. We had a really good center for 3 years. This year we didn't have the greatest center ever compared to what we had before. He played hard. He was a good kid, smart kid, played hard, but the kid we had before was a 300 and something pound bencher and 600 something pound squatter, went to state and powerlifted me. So we didn't have to get creative blocking schemes. We said Lance block the nose guard. So we did have to come up with some double teams and some triple teams if we could not block the nose one-on-one, but you can still run this even if somebody gives you a head up nose. B-back does a pretty good job right there of veering underneath the pitch key, the read key. Right there, that little slide around all the trash, and then does a really good job of cutting back underneath the safety who was about to run over them. Here's the trip set again. Same set, same motion, similar defense. This is later in the year. Play side tackle does a good job of not chasing and staying on its path. Sorry, excuse me. The does a better job of doing what he's supposed to do. So right here, we got a head up nose again. So we got one, and we got two out there. 3 is the play side safety. All right. Pitch key widens with the slot. We get that a lot. They see everything arcing out, they'll arc out. So that's nothing but a QB run here. You want to arc us out, and so we can't pitch the ball. Great. Our quarterback runs a 4-4. Well, at least the one from this year did. Our next year doesn't. So we're going to have to get creative again. But you want to open up that lane right there. We appreciate you. I was really surprised here by this right here. And we tell a guy, you are blocking for the pitch. I just couldn't believe he kind of stopped right there. That's out of characteristic for that kid to work out. But, maybe I forgot what he told me when I asked him why he did that. But right there, place I should have kept working up to the safety. He did not. I liked him to. He kind of shut it down right there, like he kind of got confused of should I block that guy or not. But our receiver did a really good job of running that guy into the play or inside because we tell him you're blocking for the pitch, you're blocking for the pitch, run your guy inside. You don't know where the ball is. The defender or the guy with the ball knows where you are, so he's got to make a cut off of your guy if you're blocking for the pitch and the pitchman does not have the ball. So right here. So we started to get some movement from the safeties. That's what we were looking for. 13 starts to bump back across the field, and then he gets caught up in the wash of not being disciplined. He gets sucked down way low. So now we've shown people, all right, they're going to run mid triple to the trips. They're going to run mid triple to the trips. They're going to run mid triple to the trips. So this is the exact same look that we're getting, that we've given people. Same kid, same set. He's going to motion in the backfield. He's going to twirl his feet out. And he's going to get out wide. So we were getting some movement from the safeties, and then that kind of stopped. And so we said, okay, well, we'll just motion the guy back across the formation. And now we have people blocked up. If you're not going to move with us anymore, then we'll move and you can keep your ass out there. All right, QB does a good job, even though the pitch key does go upfield. As the game went on, he started redirecting, and we lost this game. This wasn't a great game. They had like 3 defensive guys that are a lot better than anybody else we had, and this is one there. That's another one. This guy was really good. And that guy was really good, and so that was trouble for us. But we played well. Moved the ball in a little bit. We didn't shot ourselves in the foot a handful of times. Before kind of got away from us a little bit. But as the game went on, they started trying to slow play us, and they did a good job of it. And so the quarterback, I just told him, I said, just keep riding it all the way down, pull it as late as you possibly can, and then get upfield and read the next guy. We came up with a tag. I'll show you on the next note right there. So this is kind of a cheat. This isn't really a mid-triple play. So we said we want our quarterback to keep the ball. People were trying to keep our quarterback from keeping the ball because our quarterback was a really good football player and really fast and rushed for, I don't know, 70 touchdowns in 4 years on the varsity and 5,000 yards or something, 4,000 yards or something in 4 years. So people were saying, well, make him pitch the ball. Do not let Cole beat us. So we said, all right, well, let's block the pitch key. Let's block the pitch key if they're going to run out there, and let's just kick him. If they're going to attack the quarterback, let's kick him and let Cole cut up underneath all that right there. So even though that is the pitch key, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And you can see this. Here's our set. They've got a bunch of people out there. Even though we've motioned back in, he's not running with us anymore. He's just kind of like trailing the play, waiting to redirect. And he gets caught up in everything. We kick the pitch key, and then somebody said, "Well, that's going to leave your safety unblocked." You know, you're right. Our quarterback was 6'1" and weighed 210 pounds, and ran a 4.4. So tackle him is what we said. There's not a lot of safeties that want to tackle that guy with a head full of steam and his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. So that's a luxury that not everybody else has. We had it. We don't have it anymore. So we're might have to figure some stuff out again. So right here, you can see that guy's really wide. So Cole's been taught, give that ball. But when that guy gets right there and kind of tries to slow play us and then gears down, doesn't know what's going on, pull it as late as you possibly can, and then go be a football player. All right, so here's kind of an exotic set. So we're in trip stack right here. And we're still running the triple. And then, like I said, whatever your rule is, whatever your rule is, that's what you're going to do on the play. So how do they know where to line up? Well, so we just call this trips right stack. So trips right stack means if we were in trips right, how would you line up? Well, I would be number one. The receiver would be number one. The slot that's coming over to get in the trip set would be number two. So he's going to be number two in the stack. And then if we were in just trips right, then he would be there. And he would be here. So you're 1, 2, 3. So you're still 1, 2, 3. So that's where they know how to line up. You can come up with a different way if you want to. That was what we found to be the easiest way. So your job doesn't change. Where your standing is changes, but what your job is after the ball is snapped or what you need to do doesn't change. So we're going to actually run mid-triple switch right here. Well, switch block for us means the receiver blocks the safety, which is this guy, and the slot blocks the corner. So we're going to go block. That's how we're going to block this, which is him right here. We have a lot of screens. Sorry about that. Got caught up right here. We run a bunch of screens out of this set too. Just throw it out there. Motion another guy. Motion be back out and flip it out there to him as well too. So they have 4 guys out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. But as we're motioning this guy back in, he's going to bump back into the box. So the nose guard slides over into a 1 sec late, the backside. Or sorry, this nose guard slides late into this one gap. We didn't see him. We didn't get it communicated. Luckily, we still got the playoff because it read give, or this could have been a bad play for us. So we got lucky here. As I was going through and pulling clips for this clinic, man, we just kind of screwed that up. But I thought it'd be better to talk about stuff we also screwed up on than just show you guys a bunch of clips of touchdowns. Because just because everything works in your head, your kids still have to do it. So kids screw stuff up. I don't know how long you've been coaching, but if that hasn't happened to you yet, it will. So had we gotten that guy cut off, and it would have read full pitch, and we had a guy for a guy for a guy. We had everybody blocked up right there. It worked out pretty good. As you can see too, what I was talking about, quarterback kind of snapped the ball probably too early. And even though that he did, pitchman kept working into the backfield right there and geared down and got in pitch relationship. I think I have a butt shot of this too. I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah, here's the tight set. So what changes, and our kids actually did a good job picking this up, is right now, this guy is number 2 right out here. All right. When he comes back into the box, he ceases to be number 2, and he's going to come back into the box, and our tackle's going to arc up right there to the stack linebacker. And he sucks down so far into the box when he sees who has the football that actually our guard picks him up when he sees the stack linebacker who he's actually looking at, dives backside gap. So there's that late movement right there. But what we needed to have happen was this scoop right there. And then he could have worked up there. If that got triggers, pick him up. If he runs over the top, then our guard should pick him up. And our center would actually be looking here to this backside. And then we should have got a scoop right there up underneath that. This is what should have happened when that nose guard back into the backside, not front side. Right here, first step off the ball, That guy steps out with our arcing tackle. Quarterback reads it up, does a good job. Because that's a read key. That's a give key all day long. Unless that guy's, if he's that wide, the coaching point I tell my quarterbacks is, unless he has turned and is sprinting down the line of scrimmage, then there is no way that he's going to be able to tackle the B-back, but he could redirect and tackle you. So make sure you give the ball in that situation. All right, so we're here. We have an inverted trip set. So like I told you, so your rule doesn't change no matter where you are. No matter where you are, you're going to block who you're supposed to block. You're going to get into pitch relationship if you're the pitch man. All right. And so his job is to block the corner on mid triple. And so that's who he's actually going to look to. Don't remember if we have a switch. We have a switch set up here. I'll see it as it comes out right here. If we have a switch, then he's going to work up to the safety. And our corner's going, and our slot's going to come out here. And our gut blocks the corner. This is what I was talking about, is when kids don't move and kids don't remember what they're supposed to do. So he, looking at this from the box and looking at it on film, it looks like he's in man. It looks like he's in man is what it looks like. And right here, when we go in motion, you'll see corner doesn't know what to do. Do I run with that guy? Do I stay out here? Somebody please tell me what I'm supposed to do right now. There we go. All right, so we did have a switch call. All right, so we have another switch call. So our wideout blocks the safety, and our slot goes and blocks the corner. Would have liked to see what would have happened here had we pitched the football, because it would look like we were going to have everybody arced up. But when our pitch key right there widens out, and makes those two little hops. As you can see, our tackle is not blocking him. Now, he got caught up in a little hand fighting right there, but he is not blocking that guy. He is working up. That guy really engages him, and he just kind of starts to work through and work up to the next level. Linebacker disappeared, so he's looking up to the safety. Shot it. So he's backside, so he's not in the count. So there's one, and there's two right there. So this is, I have an overset here, and we're running away from the overset. So we gave them a strength. We gave them a strength. We're in the middle of the field, so we're balanced. So we give them a strength, and they overloaded the defense to the strength. So now we can run away. Block. We're not going to block two of those guys. Oh, I forgot that was still on there. That's our guy that drives the band for us. We pointed that out to him. He's a really good guy. And he stopped at the 20. We were very impressed by that too. He knew the rules. All right, so we can see this a little bit. So this is mid triple away from the strike. Like I said, here's a numbers game. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here, head up there, 5.5. So they are balanced as far as defense goes. But we're not going to block this guy, and we're not going to block this guy. So we have him for him, we have him for him, and we have him for him. So we have a guy for a guy. And so we have you outnumbered, and we're running to the field side. And this is our fastest slot who makes a bad decision trying to juke a kid out when he probably could have just ran into the zone. But here was a big kid. Here was a big teaching moment we did for this kid, which he was actually one of our better blockers. And for whatever reason, this was kind of uncharacteristic for him to just stop and watch. And this kid for White Oak, I'll give him some props. He does not quit playing on the play. He does a good job. And so this is a big teaching moment when we watch film with our receiver here, because he just stops. And then this guy gets over the top and makes a tackle, or at least makes his cut right there, and lets his teammates rally to the ball. So that was a big teaching point for that kid on that play right there. But does a good job. Quarterback does a good job there. And our arcing slot right here does a good job of finishing off the block, getting to there. He dances with the guy a little bit, but then he redirects, gets that guy pinned, and ran down, finishes off the block. It's a really good job by Luke. Pretty sure if he just ran in the end zone, he would have been okay, instead of trying to juke the guy out. So now we're in the trip set, and we're going to no motion. All right. Well, I thought you said that whatever your job is, that's what your job is, no matter what the play is. I did say that. So we have flipped these guys. So now these two slots have changed positions. This is the slot that would come over in this set, but now he's here, and this is the slot that would be there. So we call that flip. All right. So you guys are going to flip spots. So you guys have flipped spots, and now you are still doing your same job. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So I block number 3. If I was right here, I would arc out and I would block number 3. All right. Or if we were in a balance set and a regular Flexbone set, I would twirl into the backfield. I would arc out and get on number 3. Well, I'm already there, so I don't have to. Nobody's going to go in motion on this play. All right. Like I said, this is a big passing set for us. And so when we didn't have motion in a trip set, we threw the ball out. So we said, well, let's try to break that tendency, and let's try to figure out a way we can run mid-triple with no motion out of a trip set. So right there, left tackle, he's playing this really bad. He's up way too far, and then he's really slow off the ball, and he's going to chicken fight with the defensive end when he should be arcing out, looking for this awesome there. And so right there. But as far as the schematics of the play goes, nothing has changed. Slot is number 3. All right. Our slot that's the pitch man does a good job of working himself into pitch relationship right here. Fails 1, 2, 3. Takes too many steps like I was talking about before. We want him to be at 3 and kind of fire his feet and sit and wait. He kind of drifts. So he is catching the ball too far back. Right. I'd like for him to catch it like up in here, ideally. You can see Jordan did a lot better job blocking on this play than he did on the previous clip. You know, somebody said, well, when you do that, you don't really have a guy to block your safety. You're right. The safety's 12 yards down the field. So he makes a tackle. And I don't know if it's the same for you guys. I've noticed that a lot of those DBs don't like to tackle people. It's a good butt shot right there. So 3 technique. I'm telling the quarterback, expect to give the football. Right there, that redirection. He probably could have gave this and been okay right there. But as far as he's concerned, it's his rules. He probably could have gave that and been right. All right. That was a good job of a really late pull. Number 9 sits, is in attacking position. Then he sees him pitch the ball and has no idea what to do. So here it is again. This is out. Oh, sorry. This is out of the swap set. So this is out of our trip swap. So our slot is now lined up as a wide receiver. Wide receiver's in the number 2 position. motion. You see the wide better. There we go. Get set. Motion back in. Inverted trip set here. We have no switch block here, and we are on our normal blocking rules. So we're good. So I'm going to block the corner. And our slot's going to arc out block number 3, which is the safety right there. Receiver's doing a good job of running his guy off and man coverage. Slot does a good job of getting in pitch relationship after a twirl motion right there. Quarterback does a good job of getting his eyes on his pitch read after number 2 is triggered and giving him a pitch read. He did not. That's what happened. Jordan, he did not get a good job of when that guy realized that we were running the ball. Jordan kept trying to run him off, and we had to step out of bounds instead of having a bigger field, bigger play right there. But it was towards the end of the half right here. That wasn't the worst thing that could happen. But had he done a better job of recognizing early that I could shut it down, he overran him, and we might have had a touchdown actually right there. Had he recognized it a little bit early and gotten a better blocking position. All right, so that's all my clips that I put on this right here. Like I said, we were going to try to find ways of getting out of. Stop share. There we go. We're going to try to find ways of running mid triple out of different and new formations, and just trying to make it harder. Just trying to make it harder for defenses to say, okay, well, they're in trips, so they're passing, or they're in this set, so they're passing, or they're not getting it, they're not going in motion, so they're passing, or you can only run mid triple this way, or you can only run mid triple if they can't run mid triple if they put a nose down. So we tried to find ways to make all those sentences not true. And I felt really, really good about what we did. We had a lot of success with it. Those were just a handful of clips that I put in. I'm not as good of a speaker as Coach Stern, so I wasn't going to go for 3 hours. And I'm getting old, guys. It's 9:20, and I'm ready to go to bed. So I wasn't going to go that long. So I just put in those clips. But if anybody has any questions, you got me right now. So you can fire them out at me and let me know what's up.
Coach, you did have one question in the chat box. Coach Herrera asked, he said, Coach, I have a difficult time explaining to our slots who they block in mid triple. He says in a 4-2, they block number 2, but in a 3-4, they block number 3. How can I simplify it? Any advice is appreciated.
So what we know, we had that issue too, especially in the 4-3, was who is number 3? Is it the outside linebacker? Is it the safety? And our original answer was, well, if the outside linebacker's in the box, then it's the linebackers. And if he's outside the box, then he's the slots. And so there was a lot of confusion there. And we originally too, against the 4-3, we were veering underneath that defensive end. And if that linebacker was in the box and then he bumped out and we snapped the ball, then the slot ran past him and the linebacker was there and blocked. And so we changed the rule to the tackle's going to arc on every single time we run mid triple against a 4-3, and he is arcing to the outside linebacker. And so he has the outside linebacker, and then the slot has the safety and the play side safety. Now, if you arc out and that stat linebacker disappears, like I talked about in the clip with the kid that kind of screwed that up, if you arc out and that stack linebacker runs into the box, then you just keep working up the field and block the backside safety, and the slot will have the play side safety. In a 4-2 defense, we've never really had the problem with him getting confused. We say, that's your guy. You have the outside linebacker. And so number 1 is the DT in a 4-2 defense. Number 2 is the defensive end. Leave those two guys alone. Arc or twirl into the backfield, get outside and get that outside linebacker arced up. In a 4-2 defense, though, we do have our tackle go back to veering underneath the defensive end because of the inside linebacker can run over the top. And what we said was we were having him arc against a 4-2 defense then that play side linebacker, if he stepped outside and our guard veered up underneath that, then he was sitting there and he was being unblocked, and we were pitching off of him a lot. And then the pitch guy that we were supposed to be pitching off would rally up and make the tackle because those two guys weren't blocked. And so we changed that to a 4-2 defense that the tackle does veer up underneath that. And so we have blocking tags for it. And so we veer, we call whatever, for whatever reason, our kids at Tatum came up with slice. Well, we're slicing underneath that guy. We're slicing underneath that guy. And so if we want to double slice with our tackle and our guard, both you guys are going to veer up underneath them. Our kids said slice. So we call that domino for domino pizza slice. And so if we say mountain, mid triples mountain for us. So if we say mountain domino, then both you guys are slicing underneath and up and looking to the inside linebacker to the safety. If you don't hear domino, then tackle, you are arcing. Play side guard, you were slicing up underneath your key, and tackle, you were arcing. So that cleaned it up for us. I hope that answered your question, Coach.
All right. Anybody else? No. All right, Coach. Appreciate you. If anybody has any questions, whether viewing tonight and didn't want to reach out, shy, whatever, or if you're viewing on YouTube, please feel free. Coach Kubiak, I know you're always open to fielding questions, and to me, the best place to reach him is on Twitter. Very active on the Twitters, or X, whatever we're calling it these days. But Coach is always there to help and is a huge asset to the game and to the community. So, Coach, thank you so much again for your second year presenting with us, and really, really appreciate it. Plenty of stuff for us to steal. So
I appreciate that. Hey, thanks for having me. And like I said, yeah, at Kubiak Jeremy is Twitter or X or whatever. My phone number is 903-926-1886. You know, shoot me a text or something like that, or kubiakj@tatumisd.org is how you can email me if you'd like to reach out that way. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks, Coach, for having me on here, and hope everything goes well for you guys going on.
absolutely, Coach. Appreciate it. So without further ado, we'll transition over to the much anticipated defensive presentation from Christopher Billings, our defensive coordinator here at Alvin for the past 3 years. And once again, there are very few people, very few guys out there that I fear going against more than Billings. He is very stealthily spent the last 3 years, first 4 periods of every day, picking my brain about the triple option and learning all of our secrets. And he has taken those and he's applied them to defense in a very astute way. He stopped our best plays, whether it's triple option or what we call smash, which you'll see on the clinic videos that we post next week, kind of our power toss play. He's found a way to kind of blow all of them up and really, really, really give me a time during spring ball at least. So, Coach Billings, I know you're there. See you on the picture. You're still on mute.
Yeah,
but,
gotcha. Yeah, technology.
Without further ado, I know people have been looking forward to this. You know, a little Flexbone after dark. You get to close us out, and it's going to be on YouTube for everybody to see. So, you know, you're putting all the secrets out there. But appreciate you closing this thing out, Chris. And without further ado, Chris is going to talk about. He's going to tell you, but how to defend the triple option using fronts and movements and game planning, things like that. So, guys, if you want to know what the other team's thinking, or you know, look into their playbooks, so to speak, Chris is going to give you a look into that, and I don't think there's a better look than what he's going to give you right now. So, thank you for closing this out, Chris, and without ado, it's all yours, man. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and share. Let's do all this real quick. Good. Hopefully, you see that, Piker?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Perfect. We'll go. Is that good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, had the opportunity to come to Alvin 3 years ago, same time as Coach Piker. really having not defended a whole lot of the Flexbone, being at the 4A levels, and kind of in that way across the state, I've seen a lot more slot T. So a lot of Texas guys know that slot T mafia, that kind of deal. But getting to really hone in on the triple option has been a big thing for me professionally, but then also just like teaching defense. So it's going to give you a lot of different looks. It's going to give you a lot of things that you got to think about that don't just apply to the option, but to every offense you're going to see. And I know most of us probably, if there's any defensive guys in here, but no, we see spread, but you see so much of it now on Saturdays. Option principles are involved in everything that we're seeing, and the game reverts and goes in cycles. And for me, I've stolen a lot of stuff. One of my big influences defensively is actually Coach Bass. If anybody follows him, man, he talks about more stuff. I mean, I try and steal stuff from him all the time. So some of the stuff I'll talk about in here, some of the things that I've listened to in his podcast, his videos, just following him on Twitter. So kind of getting into it. Like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do front wise. Because for us, we're going to slant a whole lot. We don't have the biggest guys as far as who we go against. We see a lot of 300-pound linemen, and we got a bunch of 210-pound defensive linemen. So we've got to put those guys on the move. We can't play straight up 3s, 1s, 5s, or anything like that. And just if we sat there and did that, I don't know that we'd get a whole lot of good out of it. So we like putting those guys on the move, take advantage of high school kids that sometimes they have rules. Everybody's got rules, but they don't always follow them. We kind of listen to Coach Kubiak say the same thing. So to kind of go ahead with that, that's been kind of some contact info. So getting right into kind of game planning thoughts first, and then get into kind of how we do our defense movement wise, and call structure wise, and then some clips for you guys to kind of round out. Hopefully still end this thing about 10 o'clock for you guys that like to go to bed early, because I know I have 3 kids. I got 3-month-old twins that wear me out too. So kind of benefits of going against the Flexbone daily. So I know a lot of us are looking at game footage and things like that we see from all these other talks, and a little bit different from our end because we don't play against it, but we go against it in practice every day. But it helps us shore up a lot of things. So it'll stress your defense, right? You got to know very quickly if you are sound kind of in your calls and your concepts and the things that you're trying to teach your kids, because regardless of what you're seeing, again, week to week, you got to have certain elements of your defense to be successful. So it also is going to force you to solve problems, kind of piggybacking off of what we've seen from Coach Starron and Coach Kubiak. These formations that they're getting in are not formations you see every single week. And so you got to find a way to line up correctly, defend those, and then also have answers for things that are giving you problems. But it's a great teacher of essential elements of defense. So I always believe you got to have somebody on the dive, somebody that's going to take the quarterback in a pitch phase, whether it be zone read with a bubble option, or whether it's triple option, right? You got to have those elements of your defense. And I know, Coach Zito, I talked earlier, the other defensive coach that talking more area stuff. And I know a lot of that comes to hearing things that Coach Piker says, and how even Harding's going to a lot of more of the area blocking and kind of who shows up in your windows. I still think there's got to be elements. You got to have guys assigned for things. If you don't, then obviously you can get taken advantage of. And you can take advantage of people by mixing those up. Not every time does a D lineman have to have the dive. Not every time does a linebacker have to have a certain responsibility against everything. And I think you have to do that to be a successful defense, because offenses are getting so far ahead in some ways, and regardless of what system of offense is being run. So kind of just some general thoughts on defending it, right? So for me, I think a lot of people treat it as an enigma just because they don't see it every week. I think there's some offenses that are, but if you kind of condense everything from spread down to option, you see a lot of the same principles. So, when we talked about that, everything Lincoln Riley does, those things are all, showing up every day when we go against our offense. And so I want to be able to make sure we're good on those. And then when we get to the spread teams, obviously it widens out a little bit and maybe the speed changes, but still the same elements are there. You got to have people responsible for certain aspects. So I think unless you're just better, you can't sit in your defense and hope for success, right? And a lot of that comes from with the triple option being, an if-then type of offense, or if your defense is going to give you this, then the answer the next play is this, right? And so if we're going to mix up fronts, it would be simple for us defensively, but still give you guys different looks and change the counts. I think that can be extremely beneficial for the defense, right? So the next thing you got is 2 game plans. So I think if you go into a game with a certain way of thinking and hope you got them shut down, well, if that doesn't work, then you obviously better have a different answer, right? If you're playing a lot of sky and safety support, you better have a way to get to some cloud support. You better have a way to take your overhangs and make them the pitch players and your safeties the quarterback players. You know, coming, changing guys, those 2-3 exchanges, as Coach Piker has told me they are called. We did a lot of that last year against our offense, just to be able to have a simple coverage change, but it changes who's the pitch key, or sorry, who the pitch man is responsible, and then who the quarterback player is. So having some different answers to get those is going to be crucial if you're going to have success against this offense. One thing I heard, this is kind of a stolen Coach Bass, these last 2, but practicing without the ball for a day, right? So if you really want to hone in on what you have to do to be successful is take the ball out of it, right? And make sure that your guys defensively are going to attack what they're supposed to attack, and be in the spots they're supposed to be. Kids just get too busy ball watching, they see it. And what that tends to do is when you get in a game, that could hurt you, right? Because we just saw the mid triple hit so fast that if you don't know where you're at, or you don't know where the ball is, you're going to find yourself in with your head spinning. There's a reason he's so successful with that play, because it hits extremely quick. And if guys aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, then they're out of position, and you're going to have a bad day. And the last one, if it's the only team you play that runs the offense, then work it 10 to 15 minutes a week, right? You've got a Monday session, pre-practice or whatever it may be. Take 10, 15 minutes and just go through veer, go through mid triple. If they're a really big rocket toss team, go through that, whatever it may be. Like for us, if I was game planning against us, I know I'd really go heavy on, probably outside veer and then smash as Coach Piker, and now smash being more of a power play. But if you've never seen it, and it doesn't matter how big you are, if you don't know how to kind of get down in there, and you're going to have some guys really go down all the way to the ball and spill that thing, you're going to have some problems. So those are some things that I think are important to making sure you have some success. A couple more thoughts. So I think that the Flexbone as well is a offense that has tendencies just like anything else. If you play Coach Kubiak and Tatum, you're getting mid triple. Listening to Coach Starin talk last week, you're going to get zone dive. You're going to get some inside veer. But there's something they hang their hat on, right? So find it. Find the back that they want to carry the ball. Most teams at the high school level, especially you start getting into the smaller level, they're going to have one that's a better blocker, one that's a better pitch man, right? So figure out a way to get your best guys into the situations of being there when those plays happen. When we talk about personnel, 30 and 31 formation. So if they're bringing in a tight end, does that tight end really do anything? Do they say anything? Do they split him out as a wide receiver and just kind of have him stand there? Or is he going to be a guy that's going to be a third surface and they're going to run some outside veer and some belly too? Look at it the same way you'd look at a 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 20 personnel type of team. Make sure that you're really focusing in on those personnel groups, because plays change with personnel groups. Some teams are really good. They can do it all out of the same kind of people on the field. But if they're running guys in and out, you probably want to take a look at why they're doing that and in what situations they're doing that. Last couple things is create negative plays, or you'll play from behind the OC. So, right, that's what I talked about a little bit earlier. If you don't get them behind the sticks, then now you're playing off of what the OC knows you're going to do next, or the head coach or whoever. So you've got to find a way to get them behind the sticks, right? Find a way to get that ball either pulled pitch too early, and have a guy there ready for it. Maybe it ends up on the ground, or you run a good run stopper and you find a way to get a negative, one play, get them behind and kind of off of their rhythm. So where that comes in is really being random but calculated, can get you ahead, right? So you want to be able to mix things up and not say, oh, we're always just going to play an overfront or an underfront or whatever else, or our 3-4 and just hope we get home and they make a bad move. Because with as much pod work and option drill and stuff that Flexbone teams tend to do, they don't make a whole lot of mistakes. It's just something that they don't do. They know how to run their paths. They know how to get out of the mesh, get the ball out on the edge. So you got to find a way to take your shots when you can, and hopefully you can get them behind the sticks and get them playing more your game. And then the last one is STEM. I think high school teams don't do it enough. And the biggest reason to get to Flexbone, I think stemming is important, is because you can change the count, right? Everything's in the offense is favor in terms of they know where the ball's going. They know when it's going to be snapped. They know who's carrying the ball. But the one advantage that a defense has is we can move last, right? And so I think that if you start in a 3-4, stem a guy late to get the 4-man front, you may have just changed their count, may have caught them right in the middle of their snap count, and now they may freaking let a 5 technique go, and the quarterback's getting hit in the mouth. So those are just some general thoughts, maybe not everything. I'm sure there's guys that have defended the Flexbone to a much better degree than I have, or we have at Alvin. But I think there are things that are important, something that you really got to think about as you go into game planning and finding those players, because at the end of the day, coaches are going to think players, not plays. When they need a big play, who are they trying to get the ball in the hands of, right? And so figuring out having a call that will stop that, or at least put your defense and your kids in a position to try to stop that, is extremely important. Anything? I don't know. I don't have the chat up, Piker, so I don't know. Oh boy.
No, you're good so far.
Okay. All right. So kind of our base defense. So when I got there in 2021, I brought the defense that we ran in my last stop with us. We were a 3-4, mostly too high. We did a little bit of cover 3, some man, but we were your basic Army, West Coast or East Coast style slant angle 3-4. Bring a fourth from the field, from the boundary, from a linebacker, and just play a lot of base defense. Kind of getting from 4A to 6A was kind of, for me, was trying to figure out if you want to pressure and miss, or pressure and get home, or play base, or so we sat in a lot of base that first year, and then kind of in that off season, I really did a deep dive and went to a 4-2-5 and really looked at a lot of the TCU style. And when I say that, I say it in terms of the language, which has been good, and is also, it has its hindrances if you're familiar with the TCU style as well, just from length of calls and different ways you can create stuff. But we really stayed almost exclusively too high, played a little bit of cover 1 in some pressure situations, and then obviously some 0 when we were going to try and come after some teams. And then this year we really added into that and tried to get to a lot more single high to get some more run support. In some ways it was good, tried to get to some fire zones, but in some ways it also, there was some simplicity issues that weren't great for our kids. But I thought that adding that stuff into the defense was going to really give us an opportunity to change up and looks and bring people from some different spots and feel safe in the back end of it. But we're going to put at least one D line on the move 75 to 85% of the time. So generally we're slanting 1 to 2 every play, but we'll also slant all 4 of our D linemen. We can send, both from the same side. We will run some twist stunts and do some different things that way, but for the most part, I like 1 and 2 man stunts, from the 3 and the 1 from the middle guys, and then our 5 techniques. I normally let those guys play because our defensive ends coach does a really good job of just getting them hands on, squeezing, and really do a good job, especially against the option. I don't necessarily want to lose that guy inside all the time, but there are some short yardage situations where I do want to, slant some guys inside, kill that B gap, and help our linebackers get over the top. But that's kind of the general idea behind what we do with our front. So like I said, we want to be multiple and not always align the 3 to a particular place or tendency, but ultimately we want the 3 tech where they're running the football. So kind of our base even front. So when we talk about TCU, their kind of base call was tight or tight G. And it has a checklist. It's kind of your catch-all front for you to just kind of play on your pass and rundowns. And that's kind of the checklist right there. We'll set the 3 to the tight end, to the H, the wide receiver strength, the field, and to the left. That's kind of the list our linebackers go down when we call tight. And then we can kind of dictate it from the sideline where we want. If we want it strong, so that means it's going to go with our passing. It's going to go with the passing strength with our star, our free safety, and our Sam linebacker. Or we can send it weak. We can set the 3 away from those guys. And then kind of field boundary for us, Indian and outlaw, double 2 eyes and double 3s. We can play a hedge front and get in head up 2s and then move off of that. And then we have some exotic fronts that we really got into the last couple years. Not so much this year. We did have one, but not as much this past year just from injuries and stuff. Felt like we needed to stay pretty simple and not put too much on our guys' plates. But those we call Jack, Walk, Crazy, and Psycho. And I've got some clips of all of those, I believe. But I got some kind of just some drawings of those or huddle cut-ups from our playbook that I'll show the screenshots of those. So here's kind of front. So you can see tight G. So we're going to set it to the tight end. That's kind of that first check in the check box. So I haven't gone through all of these, but we got a 3 to a tight end. We're going to play a 6. Some people, whatever you want to call it, a 7, 8, 9. To me, we call it a 6. And for that guy, he's really going to jam, but he's going to have eyes on the hip of the tackle. And so where that becomes important is when they start running, teams start running any kind of veer into this C-gap bubble, outside veer or anything like that. If we get a double team down on this 3 technique, then we don't want him locked up on this guy forever, and there'd be this big old crease right in the C-gap. So what it's allowed, in some clips we'll see, this guy will be in a 9, not what we want. We have some ways to get him there, but against us, I really don't want a 2-gap situation where they can dig us out. But for the most part, we want to be in this C-gap and reading this near hip of the tackle, so that if he does step down and we get kind of this divide look, then he can squeeze and not be sitting out here in space and be getting red or looking like an idiot on film. So that's kind of how we're going to play that 6 technique. And I think one thing it's helped cleaned up too, especially for the safeties, the 6 technique is if this guy's going to go out for a pass or do something else, he's got to avoid this. I think a 6 technique's really good in high school football because you don't see it every week. A lot of teams want to play an underfront to it. They want to play a shade 5-9, that 3-9, and maybe put a black backer here or a safety can fold into that. But for us, I like putting that guy right there, jamming him, and then keeping eyes on that C gap. So we got our heads front, strong. So, set to the passing strength. Our star, our free safety, and our Sam backer will always go to the passing strength. So if it's 2x2, it's going to be to the wide side. If 3x1, it's to the trips, and so forth and so on. And then our weak front, where it's almost getting into like a shade under front or, weak eagle, whatever you want to call it. We got our star backer, our star outside linebacker, safety. One thing we haven't done a lot of that I think that, later on would like to experiment more with is keeping these 3 guys on a chain and getting the star, finding a kid that can play more on the roof, so that we don't necessarily have to worry about change of strength motions. But that's something where, I think it's a personnel thing as well, trying to find a guy that can play down here as a loose 9 or a 9 on a tight end, but can also play 10 to 12. And not every high school has those. I don't know that we necessarily had one at Alvin the last couple of years either. But it's something that I would like to get to. So here's our jack front. So basically, jack is going to get to like your 50 front. You're going to have, head up 4s or 5s, depending on kind of what we want to do with them, head up nose. And then now our star is going to walk down, and our end is actually going to bump out almost to a ghost 9. And we personneled it a couple different ways. I'd say personneled it, but depending on which 4 of these guys we want is kind of our 404 or 505, we'll have that. But the star is always going to be a kind of a ghost 9 to the strong side. And if there's a tight end there as well, that works out too. Or, if there's double tight or whatever, now we kind of get a real solid look up against there. We can play some games, pinch the ends, do some different stuff with those guys. But it's just a front change up because right now they set once again, if you get into the option stuff, and Coach Kubiak and the triple, you got 1, 2 right there, kind of in that face. And I'll talk a little bit what, from the film, my kind of theory on the pitch pitch phase, not just a mid triple, but really any of the option stuff. And then on the bottom side, getting to like a 5-1 look, you've got what we call it a walk front. So now it's similar to up top, but now we're just going to walk the wheel down, get into this 5-1 look, and really try and play some games, bring some pressure, or we can stem to it late and try and maybe change the count or just change the look for the quarterback and the offense. We get to a point where we can walk it down, drop them off, slant everybody back. And now we can kind of get into just, everything that's trending nowadays with the sims and the creepers or anything else that people see. So those are just two of the fronts. Real exotic fronts, goal line, or if we really want to bring some pressure, we've got psycho and crazy. So we'll get double 1s and 5s. It's still now we've got the star and the will walk down. So it's a pressure front, probably playing a lot more cover 0 out of this, but still have the ability to drop those edge guys off and play quarters or play, palms or whatever we want to play. But just changing that appearance, right? If you think about protection wise, I don't think Flexbone teams are going to spend a whole lot of pass pro. So giving them different looks gives you the ability to maybe they turn a guy loose, right? You're only bringing 4, but you show a 6-0 presentation or a 7-0 presentation. Now they've got to sort it out, and this isn't what they spend a whole lot of time on. So I think changing that look up, changing the count, getting guys in the quarterback face quick on the pitch can really help you, especially if that pitch goes way deep in the backfield. So those are kind of our base fronts that we really want to get after. So call structure for our defense, like I said, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but let you know a little bit about how we do it. But we're always looking to set the 3-tech, the movement and the coverage. We have 2 guys signal most of the time. Our linebackers coach will signal the front. A lot of times I will signal the coverage, but they got to the point where they know our base coverages. It doesn't take a whole lot for them to figure out exactly what coverage we're running with things. They know it because it's what we do week to week. So I think some pros to that, it eliminates some memorization, so kids only have to learn their specific part, which is good. We don't have to put a whole lot on their plate and say, this call is Viper, and then everybody just has to know what Viper means, right? We're going to spell it out a little bit for them, but there are cons to that, so it can be timely in the game. Calls can get long, so you have to find a way to shorten them, which we have. So a lot of our pressure stuff, we've got it down to 1 word with a number. So like a fire 1, our kids know that fire 1 would be, Indian fire B, right? So, and then with the coverage. So we find a way to shorten that up for them. And then in no hurry situations, one thing we've got to get better at and just having 2 or 3 calls, 1 worded, so that we can get lined up and get going. But an example of a call down there at the bottom, tight G Army hang special solo, right? So we're going to set our 3 technique to the tight end. We're going to slant all 4 linemen away from the 3-tech, which is a good thing to, I guess I need to make sure we understand is that their slants are A words and T words, and I think it's on the next slide. But it's either to where the 3-tech was set or away from where the 3-tech was set, and that's kind of how we'll dictate where that slant is going. So like I said, we're setting it to the tight end. We're going to slant away, and then we're playing our quarters coverage concepts behind it. So that's just kind of a rundown. 1 man. So we've got nose and tag, which is talking to our 2-eye and our 3 technique. So our nose and our tackle. Just a 1-man slant. They're going to cross. So they're going to slant the head up, and then almost similar to a long stick, but they're not crossing all the way down. So it's not a huge long stick, more of a step technique. Where they can redirect if they need to, like on a zone away from where they're slanting, or they can cross face if it works out, right? So we're still gapped out. Our linebackers know how to play off our movement in front of them, and it's gotten to where we've been able to free the linebackers up quite a bit. 2-man, so we have aim, Toro, and guts. So we're going to aim. We're going to do both interior D linemen and get a slant away from the 3-tech. Toro is they're going to both slant to it. And then guts is our 3 and our 5 side are both going to slant to their interior gaps. So that's how we can really kill off those strong side gaps and hopefully make somebody miss and end up in the backfield very quickly. Then our 3 and our 4-man can be either side, can be either based on surfaces. They don't have to slant to open air. So we want to make sure that we're not just slanting out the space and leave a huge crease for us. See somebody pop in the chat. Right. Gotcha, Coach. I'll get to that in just a second. So just some rundown of kind of, like I said, in a picture form. So Tai Chi nose. So we're going to slant the nose across. We can kill with a one man with the end to the open B. We can tag the nose to the open A. And then two man stuff. So Toro, we could slant to the three. Aim will slant away from the three. And then, like I said, there's our guts again. So 3 and 4 man. So if we were going to slant to the 3 with a tank call, we're all going to move into that next gap or next technique, I should say, is probably a better way. But this is a good look at, we're not going to slant to air, right? So if we've got a 4 man or a 3 man slant on, he's not just going to step out to a wide 9 and leave a huge crease, because if we get a block down and he steps out, now they've got this crease that they can run right off of. So they're going to play heavier, play their normal 5 technique rules off of that. So we'll get to the clips, because I know that's what we want to see, and you guys know I want to get you out of here too late. Coach Swaim asked, so what gives you guys problems? So multiple formations, few plays, or few formations and a lot of plays. So I think for me personally, a ton of formations is going to make guys spend a lot of time game planning. I mean, essentially we would love to, just take your top 5, 7 formations and get really good at defending those. But if you're a team that literally will just live in 15 to 20 different formations, I think that can be extremely problematic. Now, obviously, there's certain elements to every play that we've got to defend, and we want to make sure we're good at those. But formations are tough, and Coach Piker does an unbelievable job in just how many different ways they can do in presentations, I guess I should say, presentations to a defense, right? So whether it's 3 surface, whether it's wings, whether it's condensed sets, whether it's twin sets with dead receivers, I think those are all things that you can get defenses out of whack very quickly. That would be my take on it. Some guys may have a different one, but I don't want to see, when I pull up huddle film and cut ups, I don't want to see 40 different formations. I can tell you, because there's a team that was in our district the last couple of years, that was what they did. And they only ran a few plays, but God, I can't tell you. I mean, we're talking every personnel group you can get into, and luckily for us, the one thing that it will do and it can do is lend to tendencies, and that's what they had. They had, certain tendencies. If a tight end had a true tight end, hand in the ground, then it was like 98% run, right? If it was no tight ends, 10 personnel stuff, then it was 75% pass. So I still think you can get tendencies off of that, but you still have to take time. You're making us as a defense have to line up to a lot of stuff, because at some point I want to show them most of what they're gonna see on a Friday night. So that's kind of my take. Hopefully that answers your question, Coach. All right, so kind of under the defensive front is where I kind of put notes and different movements that we do have throughout all this. So kind of this first one that we've got right now. So it's alphabetically, just from my perspective, because my brain's ridiculous sometimes. But so aim. So right now, so we're in a tight call or a strong call. So there's going to be our star. So we are in more of a rolled cover 3 look. So our backers are pushed a little bit. This is our free safety. Our star is going to come down a little tighter, just to be able to kind of get guys in the face quicker. But you'll see both of these 2 interior guys are going to slant into this next gap over. One thing with this 3 tech, he hadn't played a whole lot of it, so his redirect's not great. But this kid's pretty good. You'll see him step, realize that the play's going the other way on the veer, and he's going to kind of work back down. Now, he doesn't necessarily make the play, but you'll see that even though track blocking is extremely important in terms of whoever shows up in your way, that's your rule or whatever you want to call it. What's extremely, I think, you can rely on with high school kids is that they're going to mess it up at times. So you see both those slants. There's a good trade, almost like the offensive lineman trading that hand. And we were working 2 ways in the spring. So they probably have a little bit of that in them. But you'll see this J technique. He's got that first step on the slant. He already realizes his play's going away, and his second step's going to redirect. He's still working to his first step. Hey, but what we get is he turns in. The center's now trying to climb play side backer. This guy's going to, our Sam linebacker is going to scrape free. We get a hell of a squeeze right here out of our 5 technique. Hey, whether it was a pull read or a pitch read, that's not my place to say, or a give read. But you'll see right now, you got squeeze, quarterback's going to pull it. Hey, and this ball was snapped probably right around, the 48, 49. Hey, and we're going to get it pitched, hey, all the way back here at the 43. So that's 5.5 yards deep into the backfield. Not for me, I love it, right? And so, like, for me, now it gives our defense hopefully time to run it down, stretch it out, and then we'll get a good job out of our corner, who doesn't have to be super, super physical, but you can see he's already starting to work to get skinny, so he can long arm and stretch this block out and also keep his outside arm free if that pitch takes off. Now, this is our Sam linebackers already at the line of scrimmage. Ain't nobody in his face. Now we're running it down. Corner doesn't make the play, but he never lets that ball get outside of him. Our free safety was rolled down. He really should have made the play earlier, but he does a good job coming in and capping it. So when we talk about elements of a defense, we do have a dive player. We've got a scrape player for our quarterback pitch. This should be our pitch player. And this guy, honestly, is free. I don't know if they turned him loose by blocking rules or if that was a blown assignment. But right now, we're in his face, okay, which makes this pitch go, like I said, several yards back into the backfield. What he does is gets too damn nosy, tries to dip in, and then has to work back out. Whereas if he just stays free, beats this guy with speed, hey, they're going to arc the corner. Well, this dude should have a tackle for a loss. So you see that one step inside, gets him hooked up, but does a good job getting off the play. That guy ends up being our quarterback. And here he is at quarterback now. So here's an aim call, but this is also with the 2-3 exchange where we talked about earlier. So right here, this is when we're going to play more quarters and we can switch up kind of how we want to do it. He is actually going to be the pitch read for the quarterback, but he's going to take the pitch. So it slows up the quarterback and allows our safety to come down when this quarterback pulls, comes around the edge. Hey, we're going to have a safety hopefully sitting there right there in his face. And this is what we talked about earlier. This is not a good example of a 6 technique. Number 1 in this class, but, it had some trouble getting him to understand how to play this 6 technique. His eye should be on this hip. When they step inside right here, he has got to squeeze this down or he ends up gapping us. Luckily for us, this kid will run his head through a brick wall, and he ends up gapping, helping us gap it out, and it ends up making the thing bounce. So right there, don't like that. That is what I'm talking about with having that guys on the hip. Don't like him playing a 9. I don't know if he couldn't count to 3, 1, 2, 3, line up, and then make your read. But should be okay with him coming in and at least ramming his head into this guy and making the ball bounce. See right there, kid love contact, right? So now at least we got a good shove. This kid was a 500-pound bencher, so that helped with that part of it. So now we are going to make that ball bounce. And you see now our star is going to take the pitch. He's trying to arc the safety. Well, this safety's gone. So we've got an unblocked player right there at the line of scrimmage. So 2-3 exchanges. If you don't have them in or you don't see them, I would still probably find a way to work those because they can give your kids trouble. As much as we practice, pod work and stuff, kids make mistakes. So once again, though, with the aim, with the movement up front, hey, so we do get him inside, and then now he can bend and redirect. Hey, if he took a better punch step or better punch with his hands. But right now we're essentially eating up these guys with 1 because they thought they were going to double team. Now he disappears into the A gap, which allows this all to kind of come take place. Good. So here's a 4-man Army stunt. And sorry, I'm at the mercy of our film kids, so not every clip is going to be the same. So we've got an Army stunt. So you'll see all these guys are now, we're going to slant away. So it's a strong call, or a tight call. We got Army. We should be playing a 5 technique, but all these guys should now be shooting. Their first step should be away from where that 3 tech is set. And once again, what this should help do is allow for this backer to scrape quicker. Good. So wish he would have done a little bit faster. Hey, he plays a little bit too downhill. He should already be right off his butt. Hey, and so what we got, it looks like we just, now we have, it looks like this is short, I think, but Coach Piper, or zone option, excuse me. Zone dive. The way that this play side A is going to try and dig him out of here, but because of the slant, and he's just trying to keep that hip pinned and not let anybody in here, but because we didn't let this play side tackle get off on this track and get up to our backer, it allows him to fit a little quicker, but it also, we get a pretty decent slant into this A gap, and we're able to hit that fullback a little quicker. As you can see, I wish I had a mud shot of this. Hey, but he didn't even know he made the play, but because he took a good step, hits the fullback, hit right in the mesh. And then now the backer on the other side's there to clean it up. So it's slants. Like I said, it's track. Sure, we have tracks and we have rules and things like that, but it doesn't always work out the way that we want it to. And it doesn't work out on defense sometimes either. So, but a good look at an inside slant, allowing that backer to scrape against zone against zone dive. So do have some support stuff in here, just trying to find some good clips. You know, it's not, we don't play it a whole lot. It's limited. A lot of it is spring clips, but good look at kind of a nub set. So this would be like I said, you know, talking about personnel, right? So 31 personnel, tight end wing. I know for us, if you do run a 4-2-5 and you only have kind of that one overhang, you don't play any single high stuff where you're going to roll your weak safety down. It's important to have some answers to some different stuff, because I think where teams will start attacking you is on the weak side, because they'll find a way to get guys up to that safety and only have to block 2 first level defenders, maybe 1, and they're able to kind of get that ball out there on the edge quick. So you've got to be able to have some adjustment checks to be able to handle it, and I think that puts your corners in some different situations. So whether you want to have checks where the safety comes down and he's going to play force, or the corner goes back, or whatever you want to do, you want to be able to have those. So we kind of got more of the 4-3 look here. This is actually our safety. So when we get a nub check, we actually switch our corner and safety just from the perspective of physicality. We want our corner to play more in space, and our safeties are understanding that they got to be better run fitters. So against this tight end wing, so looks like you're going to run either inside or outside veer. This is our 6 technique. Looks like he's going to, this is belly, right? So we're going to get this thing spilled. He needs to come further down, okay, off of some movement. Okay, this is where we fix from this, where he's reading that hip. And so he should already be down underneath it. But what we're trying to get this ball to do is keep spilling, just like you would any kind of power counter. You want that thing to knock it off the table and keep running it out to your unblocked defender. So he does, even though he gets taken for a ride, he gets down in there kind of close enough, because our guard goes to the outside shoulder. Hey, it makes that ball right here with the fullback knocked off, and now we've got a cloud support, hey, right there waiting on the football to get there. Sorry, I'm trying to delete all these annotations. We're going to come kick. Hey, tries to work underneath it. Would have liked it to be under there, because honestly, if our fullback probably follows the guard, he probably hits it for a 6-7 yard gain, maybe breaks a tackle and it goes a little better. Hey, but he gets just enough inside of it, makes it bounce, makes it cloudy. Hey, corner sitting there unblocked. Right. Once again, don't like corner worried about the pitch, but that's part of the option, right? You got to honor it. So he is concerned with it. But once he knows the ball's declared, falls back in, hey, 2.5 yard, 2 yard gain. Hey, we can live with that and find another down. And here it is from the tight. Hey, so once again, want him to keep going. he doesn't do a bad job getting in the C gap, but he should already be right under here. So if we do get this overrun and he does hit, the fullback does hit up inside, hey, well, he's run right into the chest of our defensive end. Hey, but he works, still gets on that inside shoulder right there, and you can see that crease. I mean, everybody can see it. Hopefully this guy would forward work over and get there, but makes it cloudy, makes it bounce. Hey, this guy's not accounted for in the run block scheme. And we get a successful play defensively. Okay, so front change up. So here's a look at our crazy front. We don't get a super good squeeze here, but you can kind of, I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looked like, right? So change it, change the front, change the action. Hey, depending on how I can't speak for offensive coaches in terms of how this count would end up working in terms of triple or anything else, but put guys there quick, hey, and make them make a decision fast. Change that count, stem to something else. Right, so in this kind of front, really the only coaching cues we had so much for these guys, these down linemen, was basically just shit and get. Get in your gap, hey, and try and get vertical penetration, hey, and mess up their blocking rules, hey, and these guys will collect everything. And then if you've got a kid that can kind of play a true Mike Backer from tackle to tackle, this is a great front for him because hopefully everything gets turned back inside and they can't get to him. So when I talk about still got to read a little bit, hey, right? You still got to be able to not let this crease happen, but it does. Good cut by the fullback. These guys get coached too, so it's a good job by them. But once again, we got a Mike linebacker that does a pretty good job, okay, coming over the top. And so, yes, it ends up being a 3 or 4 yard gain, okay, but if we get a bad read, bad mesh, you see right now, our quarterback's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Luckily, we get this ball handed off. It bounces, and then we get to fit it here. But changing these fronts up sometimes messes with those blocking rules. They don't have a scoop call or a double call. They can't get a double team. This is how you're going to get single blocks against these guys. So if that quarterback captured there, he's not having a great day because there is a pile of humanity right there. But he did a good job, got it handed off. Hey, our Mike linebacker cleans it up. From the tight look, pretty good job. Everybody getting in their gap. Just would have liked to see this kid do a little bit more of not running so far upfield, but seeing that mesh quicker. Look at that, got the butt shot too. You can really see that crease. Yeah, don't want that so much, but having guys fold, having this backer here is going to help that out. Because when he does, he's got a guy that they couldn't get to on the second level that's going to scrape and make it happen. So a little bit of pressure with him as well. So we normally like to set these up and do them off of movement. This one that we didn't, we had him creep and hit it. But a lot of times we'll stunt these guys in with like a Tim call and then blitz the backers in the B gaps. So not only do we get movement, but we're also getting these double plug blitzes. This is a good look at just having these guys closer to the ball, being able to hit. They can almost read out of it as well if that quarterback turns away from them. Hey, but get in that backfield quick, right? Who are you going to block? Hey, if it's mid-triple, obviously the ball gets pitched quick. Hey, but there's a lot of crap right in here. You got 1-2 guys still sitting there waiting for it. But I like these plug blitzes at the right times. Short yardage situations. They're really good just to be able to get somebody in that quarterback's face now, maybe make him make a bad read, have a bad mesh. And it's a good job by our fullback here. You got to give them credit too because they're still on my team. Just keeps his legs turning. But you see the conflict we can put him in, right? We got our guard here that's played a whole lot of football in this offense, right? Still gives him problems. Hey, blitzing back or right by him. Hey, there you go. I got a few more. Now we get a fire call. So this is a weak side fire. Okay, a little bit of a change up too. Like I said, wanted to him, but sometimes if you're in your right spots, this guy does a good job of getting through the line, working here. This kid was a young kid, so he was kind of unsure, wasn't sure if he was getting blocked, what exactly his responsibility was. But sometimes making the quarterback make a decision too early, or having a hard time deciding what he wants to do because he doesn't know how you're playing it, it's good. So once again, I talked about it earlier, this ball snapped at the 45. The pitch is caught almost 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. If we can't rally and at least keep that to a minimum gain, then that's not very good. But we get that ball pitched late. We get our star, gives a little bit of a confusing look, ends up working out. The backer who blitzed the backside is now on the quarterback's heels. And that's the first two guys there for us. So plug blitzes and having your kids work redirect stuff is extremely valuable against any offense, but a lot of it against this offense as well. All right, we'll skip that one because that was so read plug. So this is how it worked out, but it's not necessarily what we called. I'd like them to be up here if we're going to do this, but what we started working with too a little bit my first year here was having these guys, these two inside linebackers, read the quarterback's mesh. And so the one problem with that is counter option. It's not a great call against that. But what it allows for is when that opens to you, you can go pull the trigger, and now your buddy is going to scrape over the top. And it should happen super fast. So you get a good look at it right here. It's not exactly what we called, but it's the way that it worked out. Boom, he pulls the trigger. He's already working over the top. So now all these tracks that these guys are on, if we can do a good job right up in the middle, clogging some stuff up, and let these backers get over the top and work to it. And so that's a give read on the far side away from our will backer. That ends up going for maybe a 1 yard gain. That's kind of the reason I want to put that in there. But these read plugs are really good. My only suggestion would be is run them off the heels of the D line so it happens quicker. So if he ran it from here, he's there, and now he can get over the top a little quicker. Little smoke, edge pressure, everybody's seen that. And then, okay, so here's Toro to the 3, so we're about to wrap it up. We've got a tight call, tight Toro, so we got 3. You've got right here, this is really good. This is our offensive guard. Got real good at slanting just because he was able to learn how to trade the hand very quickly. He starts in that 2-eye. He's going to step to the hip of the center, beats the guard across. And that's play in the backfield, right? So negative plays, right? It's 1st and 10. Now it's 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11. Now they got to go to the call sheet and figure out what's the if then off of this, right? So take advantage of some of these rules, right, and tracks by slanting across their face, slanting away from them, interior slants. Those are extremely important. It is from the tight. You can see his get off, and I'm not going to say he cheated or not. Maybe knew the snap count after playing guard for 3 years, but there's always a hard count. But it's a great get off, great slant. Eat up the double team up top. Tried to get a little bit of a 6 technique, into that C gap. But we clouded it up. Great job by our 3 technique right here. Freaking knocking that double team back. Allows that slant across the face of this backside guard. Now I almost had the ball out too. More. So here it is again. You see both of them. Great first step by both these guys. This is hilarious. They're almost like doing a mirror drill as they're both trading. There's a trade the hand. He's slant here. He's slant here. It's kind of where's who go. But we get a good first step to the hip of the center. Once again, quarterback's opening up. Looks like mid. Beat this guard across, and now we're right in the face of the mesh right now. Quarterback gets a give read, and he gives it to the fullback, right? I think Coach Kubiak brought that up about scooping that shade out of there. Apologize. There's one specific one. I know I get you guys out of here, but I guess that was it. Anyway, so here's a look at our walk front. Okay, so this is we're going from, like I said, the even to an odd. Hey, wish you would have stood up, look a little more athletic, but a wide 9. Okay, here's our will linebacker walk down. Hey, we're playing man coverage behind it. Hey, get a pinch out of our ends. We want him to come a little bit more. But once again, now we got a 9 technique right in that quarterback's face right now. If he wants to go up to safety, hey, well, there's no one there for him to block pitch. Right? Quarterback pulls it. We got a DN sitting right there waiting on him. Hey, a little too far up the field. Hey, but still change the count, change the numbers. Hey, and that's kind of the whole idea behind what I was trying to get at tonight. If you're having to defend this weekly or a couple times a year, then find a way in your defense to change these things up and give them some different things to think about, right? Don't just be on the reactionary side of it, which tends to happen a lot of times these days, but find a way to, change the count, change the picture, get them behind the sticks and really get them off script. And that allows you as a defensive guy or your defense to get more success against these type of option offenses or any power run based type of options. So that's all I got for you guys. Coach Piker, I don't know if you want to hop back on.
Absolutely. After you just shared all of our secrets and everything, but
there's a lot of info out there.
I mean, we don't do anything that we hadn't stole from somebody else. But in all honesty, I couldn't think of a better way to wrap up the last 5 weeks of doing this clinic than to have you on board, Chris, and kind of talk about. There are a few clips in there. It was spring ball. We were still learning a few things.
Yeah, I didn't show our bad ones for a reason, duh.
Well, you never meant, you mentioned the 3-year guard, but not the sophomore center and things like that. It's all about how you present it. I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But phenomenal job. Coach Swain asked if he can get your contact info in here.
Yeah. Am I still sharing my screen?
It's just your face right now. So.
Oh, yeah, my ugly bud. That's probably the easiest way. I'm on Twitter quite a bit, but if you need the email, I'll put it in the chat right now too.
And again, it'll be on YouTube. That opening page Chris had on his presentation at the end. You'll be able to pick from that. Hopefully, we'll have that up by the end of the night, at least by lunchtime tomorrow morning. So, but does anybody have any questions for Chris before we go? I know we're definitely Flexbone after dark right now, so we're the numbers are dwindling a little bit. Coach Busby says thanks for everything. Coach Spindler said thank y'all. Guys, we honestly.
Coach, I'm sorry to interrupt. May I ask a question? I don't know if you said in the chat or not.
Oh no, go ahead, Coach Rare. You're good.
Coach, we play a team that's wishbone, and they play a nub tight end with a tackle to the unbalanced side. How do you guys play that nub tight end? Because we feel like we need two to play him. We need one to play the run, and then a secondary player to play the pass. And we just don't like it when one nub tight end takes two of our kids away, if that makes sense.
Right. Let's see. Am I still speaking on here? Sorry.
Yeah, you're on here.
Okay. So are you saying like side of the bone, but there's just a nub, it's 3 surface and then nothing after that, right? I'm guessing we're talking about the same thing. For us,
I'm sorry to interrupt, Coach, real quick. So what they do is they'll put, let's just say they'll put tackle over to the left.
Okay.
And then it'll be a guard and a tight end to the right, and that'll be it.
Okay. So yeah, so you're talking, yeah, like I'd call like almost like an X over. So like that tight end could go out for a pass, I'm assuming. I think we're talking about the same thing, like an X formation. So if we're talking about the same thing, then what we're gonna do in a 3-4 is we would probably boss our outside linebackers so we don't get into like a 3-3 stack look. And then depending on if that eligible, that it's tackle over, so that backside, it's a tight end in a tackle spot, we're probably going to make some kind of lock call. whether it be with the outside backer, or we've even done it before with defensive ends where they just lock that guy and beat the hell out of him, don't let him come off the line. But then we're probably going to have a cloud support corner. I wish I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen or not. I don't think I am, but
No, it's just you right now.
But I can draw it up for you, Coach, or you can send it to me. But for me, yeah, we are gonna have to shift, right, to get the numbers back balanced to the tackle over stuff. So for me, we're gonna play some kind of odd. If they're doing a lot of it, hopefully an odd front, and really bang that guy that's in that tackle spot, and then have a corner, but we still have a safety up high, and then a linebacker if we're in the odd front. If we're in an even front, you're probably a guy short at the skill position, just because of numbers. But hopefully that answers. Like I said, not seeing it's a little tough, but if you want to send it to me, feel free, and I can tell you how I would play it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's kind of what I would do.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach, is anything else? All right, sounds good. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Chris, thanks for wrapping us up again. And
thank you for having me.
Guys, we can't tell you enough how much we appreciate y'all being a part of this year. The numbers have been outstanding, but aside from the numbers, those are just analytics, however you want to look at them. But at the end of the day, it's the number of people we were able to reach, and the amount of information we were able to put out there. And quite frankly, again, we want to harken back to the original days where it's just everyone sharing everything. That's what the coaching profession is supposed to be about. We all stole something from somebody way back when, and quite frankly, I can't remember a time where something was more organic or genuine than what we've been able to do the last 5 weeks. So, and it's thanks to all of y'all. I know me and Coach Gage, we talk too much, we do, but at the end of the day, this was all about y'all and everybody that was able to take something from this the last few weeks. And it's thanks to y'all, everyone that presented, and then everybody that joined in, everybody that's gonna take a view of this or take a view of these on YouTube in the coming days, months, and years. So as always, we want to keep the community tight. Feel free to reach out. Whether it's any of the speakers that were willing to come on board, or me or Coach Gage, or let's keep this thing going. And clinic season never ends, guys. So again, thank you all so much. Y'all made this year so special, and we're looking forward to keeping it going. Do it again next year. So with that being said, my name is James Piker. I'm the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at Alvin High School, and that will conclude the